They say try hard like it's a crime, but we keep trying every time. Do or not, there is a try. Yoda told us all a lie. If trying from it, so are we. Welcome to Try Hard Valley.
Welcome back to Try Hard Valley, where we try hard so you don't have to. Actually, that's not true. We want you to try hard too. It's right there in the title. This week we're taking stock of the podcast, the male loneliness epidemic, Eastern European cruise ports, and that Hall of Fame baseball pitcher who still hasn't returned my Instagram DMs. It's a bit skippy-aroundy, as usual, but we're trying hard to stay laser-focused on our Try Hard brand.
Welcome to Try Hard Valley. This is Yael.
And this is Carrie. Yael, what are you trying hard to do with your week?
I am trying hard to get over jet lag. As we mentioned in a prior podcast, I just got back from a really cool trip to Europe. And man, jet lag is a killer. I am still trying to recover. Gotcha. But that's what I'm trying to do. And also, I'm trying to appreciate that I got to spend almost 2 weeks with my dad and my stepmom. It was so nice to spend that kind of quality time, which I really never get to do.
Nice. And by the way, I didn't chime in that much because I'm all about listening now.
Are ya?
And trying hard to be more about listening and less about speaking. And that is based on your sales tip from the last episode and also the sales training that I recently got at my work.
I love it. Can I give a shout out to a couple places I went that were amazing?
Oh yes, please do.
So we were on an Adriatic cruise. We were in Split, Croatia. Amazing.
Wait, Split, Croatia?
Yeah, it's called Split.
Oh, that's the name of the town.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's fabulous. Just beautiful, tons of restaurants, gorgeous city. I could definitely spend a lot more time there. And then we were in Corfu, Greece. The lesser known island, obviously, because you were telling me before, it's always Santorini and Mykonos, and then you go to Athens for a minute because you don't really want to be there longer. But man, Corfu was beautiful, and we got to eat by the water and then go for a swim. So it was a lot of fun.
Split, Croatia, when you said that, I pictured that half floor in the movie being John Malkovich.
I don't think I ever saw that movie.
Okay, anyway.
But it's like, I guess when they say the coast of Croatia, that would be it. I would highly recommend it. We were supposed to go to Dubrovnik, but the cruise line, without telling us, said, nope, you're not going there anymore. You're going to go to Slovenia. So we went there as well. So Carrie, what are you trying hard to do this week?
I'm trying hard to speak with my mouth.
That's going to be very challenging.
I'm also trying hard to figure out why our last podcast went viral, which was exciting. I think it might be because we are now on YouTube and also because my old pal Tanya has a lot of hardcore fans. And if you listen to that episode, you can hear that I am definitely one of them. So that was gratifying.
No. You're her biggest fan,
Yes,
it sounds
yeah.
like. I have to say, though, she's super cool.
Yes.
And she's very, like I'm not right now, very good with her words.
Yes,
You know that thing called the English language?
Right,
Yes, yeah. I try every day to make sure I speak like a normal human being. She's very eloquent. That's the word I was looking for.
Yes.
Very eloquent.
She always has been, and she was a person I always thought would do great things. So it's neat to see that she has.
Yeah, and I'm a little jealous. I mean, all her travels too, right?
Yes.
She's living in Greece and London and, obviously New
Buckingham.
York.
Yes, yeah.
So some really cool spots.
So Yael, since we have now reached the middle of the year, we're in June, I thought it would be fun to do a state of the podcast address. And the way I thought we could do it is to go over the reasons we started.
I'm gonna go with 90% you, but we'll start with your list. How about that?
The reasons thank you, that works.
I.
Yale/Yael,
Yeah.
me/I.
They, them.
Started this podcast. So, number one, I said, the number one reason I had to start this podcast, we had to start this podcast, was my friend Yael is a bossy bully.
Doesn't that come across ironic based on the
Yes,
fact that this
it
is
does.
your list?
Yes.
And by the way, we've decided that I might be bossy, but Carrie's pushy.
Yes.
I don't know if they're intertwined or slightly different.
I get it.
You feel the difference?
I feel that difference.
Yeah.
And also, I think of that expression when you point one finger at someone, 3 fingers are pointing back at you, because I definitely have the bossy bully gene.
You mean the expression that you just looked up to remember what it was 3 seconds ago?
Thanks for outing me.
If I'm not here to do that, then why am I here?
Okay,
Look,
so moving on.
I'm looking to take it as a compliment.
Yes.
All right.
You're assertive. I'm glad. I'm
Yes.
glad you did that
Okay.
because I had been too much of a consumer of podcasts, and it's fun to be a creator.
And that's one of the things
And
on
it's
your
fulfilling.
list. There
Yes.
you go. 100%.
Yes. Reason number 2, we had to start this podcast. My husband of 25 and a half years, Dave Gilbert, needs to get the hell out of this house. That still stands. He's still home a lot. He has a new job. He's starting his own thing.
Is he at the gym more?
He is.
Okay.
But
without you?
He works from there sometimes, but it's more because I prompt him. I never have to be prompted to get out of the house. He has to be encouraged. He's still part of this whole male loneliness epidemic, though he is making friends through Reddit. Some men who live in the East Bay Reddit group,
okay,
and
so
he's met up with them. Yes, he has,
right.
and he met some new pals. So,
right.
And he did that on my birthday. He went.
He left you on your birthday to go to...
No, I was thrilled. I'm like, get out. Go do whatever. Get a girlfriend. I don't care.
To the extreme, Carrie goes.
Yes. Okay, reason number 3. I would prefer to exist as a disembodied voice. That still stands. I think I also said something like, if I could be binary code, I would.
I disagree with that. What are you talking about?
I just would like to be consciousness. I don't really want to have a body.
Well, maybe that'll happen in 50 years when you're no longer on the planet. Or sooner with AI. I don't know if I like that one for you.
I think aging and decline and my uterus and my leg and my arthritis, it just all sort of adds up.
How about just more titanium? I have 2 hips, so I'm part titanium. Doesn't mean I want to be here every minute of every day, but they help. All right.
Okay, reason number 4. I have been involved in far too many intense parasocial relationships with podcast hosts. That is less so now that I have my own. We have our own.
See,
podcast.
she says my own constantly.
Okay, moving on. Reason number 5. I am sick and tired of hearing from and about the people and places of Los Angeles, California. That is true, and I need to mention more local businesses on this.
Well, the biggest problem, I think, is that Hollywood is Southern Cal, so they definitely have the bulk of it.
Right. Hollywood seems to be the capital of podcasts, so I constantly feel like I'm hearing about Erewhon. Have you heard of this?
No.
I think it's a store.
Is that like Padawan?
Some kind of store, but I'm sick of hearing about Erewhon. It's
Is it like a
store
grocery store?
I think so.
Oh.
They have smoothies. That's all I know.
Oh.
People who have been to an Erewhon,
well,
hit me up.
All right.
Online
Well, you know
and
why?
tell me
Then
what
they
it
obviously
is.
have nothing else to talk about if they're
Right,
talking about
yes.
a smoothie shop.
Yes.
We think we can overtake them here in our local market.
Yes.
Okay.
So let's talk more about local businesses.
Great.
Okay. Reason number 6. I know a lot of lovely and very talented tryhards who live right here in the Tri-Valley. That's true.
And you very much do.
Yes, and you do too, and so that's been great. Reason number 7, I'm looking forward to speaking with them. I've really enjoyed that.
We've already done a lot
Yes,
of
we've
that.
done a lot of that. Reason number 8, I can't run anymore. That kind of still stands, but I got a brace that's helping, and I'm thinking I might be able to get back into it with a good mix of walking, wearing the brace, and doing physical therapy. So that remains to be seen.
So the swimming is out.
I'm still swimming also.
Okay.
But I miss the friend thing with the running. So
You mean your improv, chorus, and the 9 other things that you do socially during the week aren't enough?
Not quite. I feel like I exist at the intersection of FOMO and JOMO.
What's JOMO?
JOMO is joy of missing out.
Oh, okay.
So I exist at the corner of
All right.
fear of missing out
Okay.
and joy of missing out. And I've had more of the former, more fear. Like when I look at Strava and I see all my friends running together, I'm sad because I'm not with them.
Well, to be fair, I mean, you know me, tennis and pickleball, right? And if I'm not playing or I can't play and I see people playing or they reach out and I can't join, I start to miss out a lot. Because that's a massive social...
Yes.
It's a massive social... what's the word I'm looking for?
Outlet?
Yes.
I totally relate to that. And so... just trying to get back into it, so we'll see. So it's not completely ruled out. Edge case.
Okay, well maybe you can get a e-bike and follow them slowly.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Or you can swim alongside them.
Yeah, that would be real something.
Yeah, a portable pool.
Reason number 9, I have aged out of the tech industry, but I still like to keep my hand in something tech, so this kind of counts.
No, it's cool. And quite frankly, I think a lot of people, unfortunately, are aging out.
Right,
Because there's tons of layoffs. So it's tricky to get back in. They don't need you anymore, unfortunately, in a lot of cases, right?
There are so many bots that can do what I did for free, and so I'm lucky that I've pivoted to senior living. Look, and
you're in
I'm liking it.
The largest growing sector of the industry, because the baby boomers are you say aging out, but they're aging up.
Yes.
And you're in a perfect spot.
Right. And I actually feel like I, in my mind, in my heart, in my soul, am an elderly person. From the music that I like, I love Ethel Merman. In my heart, I'm a 127-year-old gay man.
All right, so then the Tonys will be perfect for you tonight.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes, it's Tony's Day.
Woo!
Reason number 10, I would very much like to meet former Seattle Mariner Hall of Fame pitcher and current traveling photographer Randy Johnson. That still stands. No movement on that. I keep trying. I keep meeting people who know him or knew him.
I have to say, I don't get it. I never understood it. I know you think he's like... I get it. He was a phenomenal pitcher. Not the most devilishly handsome man on the planet.
Not a conventional.
Not an unconventional. If he ever listens to this, he's certainly not going to come on now. Not for me.
I think you're so hot, Randy Johnson, the big unit. But
he gets to be called the big unit.
Right. I mean, both of his names, his actual name, Randy Johnson, and his nickname, the big unit,
I know,
are pretty suggestive.
They are. How did that come together?
I mean, I don't know. I think it's just the passion.
The passion?
The way that he pitched and just, yeah.
But I tell you what,
something.
if we can make that happen,
yes,
I would be all over it.
Yes, so hit us up.
Yeah, Randy, if you happen to be listening
Randy, please respond to my Instagram messages.
She's your number one stalker.
Oh yes, please. We just want to talk to you. We don't have to meet you IRL. Maybe we can just do a phone thing.
Well, you know what? We'll continue to talk about this in the future.
Yes.
And
hopefully.
see if it's something that actually can happen.
We'll make vision boards and I'll try to manifest.
I'll tell you what,
way.
you make a vision board of Randy and I'll think of something else.
Okay. That sound means it's time for Yael's sales tip. Hit me, Yael.
One more time? Okay, so today's sales tip is, if at first you don't succeed, try again. So, cold calling, you always see on LinkedIn, cold calling's dead. Totally disagree with that, by the way. But it's how you do it that matters, right? Different avenues, different thoughts, different plans. If all you're doing is emailing somebody or just calling them, you're never going to get anywhere. So it's like the definition of insanity, doing the same thing and expecting different results. So you got to switch it up. If you email them, have a reason to email them. If you're going to call them, do it on a different day. If you're going to go in person, find a time that's different than when you normally go. So always try new things. The other thing is, maybe it's not working for you. Bring somebody with you that has a different take on it. Bring a manager in, or bring somebody that you work with that can make things a little bit more creative. Cold calling is not dead. It just needs to be more consistent in its inconsistency.
What you're saying rings true to me now because I'm doing a lot of cold calling.
Let's be honest. It's tough. It can be really tough to cold call. And especially in your line of work. Do you have any seniors that you want to move out of your house? I mean, obviously there's a better message than that. It's not easy. And you have to be willing to have people say no to you all the time. So, rejection...
It's God's protection.
Okay. I can't say I've heard that before, but... Is that what you learned in your 3-day sales training course?
That's my friend Sandy. Shout out, Sandy Herrenroth.
And we're done.
Our guest today is the officially unofficial mayor of the Livermore stand-up scene, Brian Maggi. If you've laughed at a comedy show in a Livermore winery over the last 7 years, there's a decent chance Brian had something to do with it. We talked about how one guy with a Craigslist sound system somehow became the comedy infrastructure of an entire city. Welcome to Try Hard Valley. This is Carrie, and I'm here with comedian and producer Brian Maggi.
Hey, Carrie.
Brian, I'm going to ask you the question we ask all our guests. What are you trying hard to do this week?
All right, well, I've got a busy June, and I've got a couple shows coming up this month that I want to pitch, and I've got to go out of town this week to help my daughter move back.
Georgetown, go
That's
boys.
right, yeah. Well, I'm going to be in D.C., and so I'm going to be gone, but I still got to get some things teed up for some great shows I've got coming up this month. And one of them's at one of the newest wineries in Livermore. And that show is called The Joy of Laughter, and it's at a winery called Shanti on Tesla Road. Some of you may know the location because it used to be the Stephen Kent Winery. The Shanti show is the 19th. I have another show on the 20th, which is at Fenestra Winery, and that one is called Fenestra at Fenestra. And that's got Phil Johnson, and he's a great comedian. And the Shanti show, I'm actually headlining, so anybody dying to see me again, that would be your chance. And then third show this month is a new one I'm doing. It's called Group Chat Girlies, and these are two comedians that I met through Three Steves, and they're from the East Coast. They're out from Charlotte. They're coming to town, and they've got a great podcast called Group Chat Girlies. I'm going to do it live in Livermore. So it's at Three Steves. It's on the 26th of June, and we're going to have a pop-up market before the show. It'll start about 3. The Word on the Street book truck will be there. We're going to have Everlink's jewelry.
The synergy.
Yes, exactly. So it's going to be a neat event because we've got the pop-up market part before the show, and then Group Chat Girlies comes on at 7:30. So it's the first time I've co-produced a show with other comedians. And in summary, you got Shanti Winery on the 19th. You got Fenestra Winery on the 20th. And lastly, you've got Group Chat Girlies on the 26th. All these in June, all these in Livermore.
Wow, this is
And Group Chat Girlies
lot.
is at Three Steves.
Yes, and I've already had a very Maggi-centric weekend because I went and saw Clay Newman headline at Three Steves on Friday night. He looks like my long-lost fraternal male twin, whereas Carole King is my fraternal female twin. It was fun to talk to him after the show. I gave him some tags. And I talked to his mom, and we decided we're fraternal twinsies, and that we're from the same shtetl.
I like how he called himself Meth Brogan.
He was hilarious.
That was the first time I'd worked with Clay. He was great. When I first started doing comedy, I saw Clay a couple times. He was funny then. He's gotten funnier. Yeah, good guy.
I wished him a Shabbat Shalom. It was great. Mishpacha.
Yeah. That's, my Yiddish is a little
There you
rusty
go.
compared to yours.
And then last night, Mitch Polzak and Lauren O were at Three Steves, and that was a fantastic show. You want to tell the story about meeting Mitch?
Oh, yeah, I love telling that story. So I was on a flight to Milwaukee a couple years ago and waiting at the gate at Southwest, and I noticed this big, tall, good-looking guy, and he had a guitar.
Tall drink of water.
Oh, yeah. He had a guitar case with him. And all I could think of is this guy looks way too good to be flying Southwest. And so I'm just trying to figure out who he is, because first he kind of looked like Jim Jarmusch, but he's like,
Oh, yes, he does.
yeah, but he's like 6'5", and dressed to the nines. And so I get on the plane, and I don't remember if I did it on purpose or if it was coincidental, but he was across the aisle from me, so we're sitting next to each other in the plane. And I asked him who he is, and he tells me, and I immediately get on Instagram and find him, and I'm like, oh my God, I see these clips, and I see him playing, and I see he's got this amazing looking guitar. And so I asked him, is this you? And is that what's in that case? And he said, yep. And after that flight, I eventually reached out to him and said, I'd love to work with you. If you and I can figure out some dates, I can try and find us a venue. And so I went to my friends at Del Val Winery. I pitched them on the idea of what I was calling the summer shindig. We'll make it a thing, you know, a big summer shindig. It
Went
won't just
there. It was great.
Yeah.
Well attended.
Yeah.
Fun show. Lauren
Yeah.
O opened then, too.
That's right. Mitch headlined it, and we started that in 24, and now it's on its 3rd year. August 1st will be the next Mitch Polzak show in Livermore. So that's how I met him, and that's how that all came together. The guy is amazing. Not just a great musician and entertainer, but a wonderful human being. One of the
Yes.
nicest guys you'll ever meet.
So
in the business.
personable. And you mentioned you have a man crush on him.
And
I think every man
that
there
I've
did.
introduced him to
And
has,
every
but
woman had
hands
a-
off.
yes, yeah.
He's mine. I saw him first. And I apologize to anyone that's hearing the dog who won't leave me alone.
We have internet celebrity dog Milo here. Star Shih Tzu.
8-pound Shih Tzu who looks like an Ewok.
Brian, we met through our mutual friend Yang Wei, who was a swimming friend of yours and a running friend of mine. And she brought me to a show, I believe it was August a couple years ago.
I think it was 2023.
Yeah, 2023. And it was at Three Steves. Beautiful venue, by the way.
And in case we haven't said it enough, 3 Steves.
Three Steves, exactly. We should have Steve on.
Yeah, like 9 3 Steves.
Yes.
27 Steves.
So many Steves. So I met you at this comedy show. We're not going to name names here.
No, the show is called Laughs in the Glass.
The show is called Laughs in
Been
the
doing it
Glass.
7 years.
And normally, fantastic show, great lineup. For some reason that night, the guy, who will not be named, the headliner, just read his jokes off his phone and was not reading the room at all and was not landing the plane. He just kept going. He wanted to end on a high note and it wasn't coming for him. When I watch comedy, my wheels are turning because I'm writing tags in my head for the comic. But he was trying to dig himself out of a hole, and he just kept getting deeper into the hole. But then afterwards, Yang introduced us, and we started chatting. And then we met up at the club. And during our conversation, you got like 8 calls from realtors because you were maybe going to move to Milwaukee, Wisconsin at that time. And you had been teaching a comedy class, and I subbed in for you for that class, which was super fun. And then I did Three Steves, which was also fun. And I've met your lovely wife, Linda, and attended her bookmobile launch party.
Book truck.
Book truck, okay.
Bookmobiles are free.
So I got our origin story, right?
Yeah, I mean, I really can't embellish it much more than that, other than I think the tag you might have been looking for that night was, "That's my time."
Right, exactly.
That would have been the best line.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't recall that comic performance all that well, other than I do remember that part of it being like, "What are you doing up there reading from your phone?"
But then the next
as a
month,
headliner, yeah,
yes,
it's
yeah,
not something a headliner should be doing.
The next month, I opened, and you had Iris Benson and Ryan Goodcase, and that was a fabulous show, if I do say so myself.
Yeah,
Great
oh
lineup.
God,
and,
Ryan's
yeah,
hilarious.
Yes, yeah, that's
he's
great.
so popular. People ask for him a lot.
I wanted to talk about a show that happened a year ago because I feel trauma bonded to you because of this show. So we did a show at Fenestra Winery, the Fun Estra show, the first one ever, and I was the opener. Nick Brianna was the MC. Regina Stoops was the feature, and you were the headliner.
That's right.
And it happened on a day I'd had a surgical procedure called a hysteroscopic polypectomy. It's a gynecological thing where they knock you out, you're in twilight. I was out of my mind, and the doctor said, "So what are you up to this weekend?" And I said, "I have a comedy show tonight." And they said, "Oh, hey, practice on us." So while these surgeons are all up in me, and I'm high out of my mind, I did my material, and I killed. It was the best comedy show of my career. That was my rehearsal, and it went great. Then we actually had the show at a beautiful venue, Fenestra Winery, and I opened, and it was fine. Not as good as my Martinez Kaiser gig earlier that day.
Well, the twilight had worn off.
And then Regina went up, and what happened
Well,
next?
Regina was just doing her set. She's hilarious. And Regina is married to another woman, and she has these great stories about having kids and raising kids.
Very family friendly.
Yeah, she was killing it. And this doofus comes up to me and says, "I don't want to hear this." I was like, "Well, you probably should leave." And he goes back to his seat, and I thought that was it. And then Regina kept going, and then he comes back, and he comes up to me, and he starts yelling the same thing. People want to see this, and people want to hear this. Only 5% want to hear this. And I don't know where he gets his statistics, but the audience was laughing crazily. And now he's yelling at me. Now he's screaming at me. And I said to him, I go, "Then you do need to go." And I finally had to say to him, "Then you need to fucking go."
Yes, the audience was with you, by the way. They were all booing him.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
yes,
people were,
yeah,
I mean, it
'cause
wasn't
he
just
was
me. It wasn't just
making
me
such a
yelling at him.
fuss.
Yeah, it wasn't me just yelling at him. It was the audience was with us. They were all like, "Go, get out of here." And I had to say it a few times, just get the fuck out of here. And I pointed the door, and his wife, she got up and left. I don't know if she was embarrassed or just less drunk. And he was clearly overserved himself, but it wasn't the booze talking. This was just hostility. And he kept screaming at me, and he eventually left. And it was great because, like I said, the audience was all with me, telling him to leave and everything. Then when he did, the audience applauded. What I have to say, though, what was amazing about that whole thing is that Regina didn't miss a beat.
Yes,
I mean, she just kept
landed
going.
The plane. She did her tight 12.
Yeah, she didn't stop and go, what's going on? It didn't faze her at all. And, didn't even give the guy any oxygen. Just did it. And it was a great show. Now, for me, I was headlining. It was, I hate to say it like it's selfish, but it was like, I kind of came up. The audience already had accepted me.
They saw you turn from Bill Bixby into the Lou Ferrigno Incredible Hulk. You really got aggressive with the guy because Fenestra didn't have security. So you got in his face and you got him out of there.
There was another person there, my friend Donna's neighbor. So I don't know if that guy saw him coming up from behind me, but the guy was outnumbered by not just me and the audience. But what was going through my head is I think of a good brawl possibly happening is he was standing downhill of me, which is not a very good spot to be in an ass whooping, right? If that had come to the case, and there's part of me that I'm glad it didn't, but I would have really liked to have at least, shove him. But it ended the way it did. It was our first show at Fenestra, and Robin, one of the owners there, couldn't believe what had happened. And I told her, this is not something that's ever happened at a show before. I said, it just did. We took care of it. And I'm not happy it happened, and I would never want this to happen again. And I'm not encouraging anybody else to come to a show with a bug up their ass.
It was entertaining, and I was still coming off the Versed and fentanyl from the earlier procedure, so thank you for re-explaining that to me, because I was kind of out of it at that point still, but it made me feel trauma bonded to everyone who was in the audience there, and to you, who acted as the bouncer, to Nick, who was the MC. He had a great ad-lib, I forgot what it was, but he was hilarious. And to Regina, who stayed composed and didn't let it bother her that she had this crazy heckler. So Brian, you are the executive producer at Showmentum. Want to tell us about how that came to be?
Showmentum is a production company. I started 7 years ago. I spent 30 years working in tech, and then it ended. And I never really wanted to be in the tech business in the first place. But I took a stand-up comedy class, which was kind of against my own principles, but I did it. The instructor gave me some advice to meet this other comedian who'd been producing shows for a while, Samson Kolekar, now a good friend of mine and a great comedian, puts on the Desi Comedy Tour. I had coffee with Samson, and he said, you're a grown-ass man, you shouldn't be driving to the city for open mic. And he recommended I do my own thing, like produce a show. He said, you're out in Livermore, do something, he goes, rent a theater, rent some, whatever. So we have this great resource here that's part of the Livermore Valley Performing Arts Center, which is also known for the Bankhead Theater. And they have an arts center called the Bothwell Arts Center. And they had a little black box theater that held like 60 people. So I rented that and put my own show on, and I called it Adulted. And it was mainly comics of our age and our life experiences. I just basically told friends and family and neighbors and stuff like that. And we had our first show here in Livermore, and it sold out, and it was mostly my friends. And then after the show, we all came over here and had a barbecue in my backyard. So I learned that's a good way to have a show. And I thought maybe someday I'd meet somebody at one of these wineries out here, because we've got 60 of them in Livermore, and most of them are small independent ones. And there turned out to be a friend of a friend that was at the show, came up to me at our party, and we're friends now. Her name's Gina, and she's working in a winery that asked if I'd be interested in doing there. I'm like, well, hell yeah, So I met with her at the winery a week later, and I remember the bookkeeper was the person we had to sell the idea on. So she was asking what's involved, and I told her, well, you got to book comics, and you got to get equipment, and you got to do tickets. And I could just see her like, oh God, this does sound like a lot of work. And so I said, but don't worry, I do all that. And Gina looks at me like, really? And I went, just go with it, follow my lead. And so the woman at the winery was like, well, fine, if you want to do all that, well, then we can do it here. So I was like, great, that's exactly what I want. So I went out and just bought the gear on Craigslist. And then, as I mentioned, I spent a long time in tech, so I just stood up my own website, my own ticketing. Ed Sampson is one of the comedians on that lineup. And we put on the show, and I was like, this could be a business. And so immediately I decided I'm going to incorporate, because I was also like, I can pay for stuff, I could have business expenses. So I incorporated, and I came up with the name Showmenum, did a couple shows at Crooked Vine, and then one thing led to another, word spread, and then next thing you know, I'm doing shows at other wineries and at Three Steves. Kevin Ferris was the sales manager at Three Steves at the time, and one of the cool things we did was making a fundraiser. Kevin knew the folks at Culinary Angels, which is an amazing organization that provide meals for cancer patients and their caregivers, and so we raised money for that organization, and we had a comedy show. And then 7 years later, we've been doing Laughs in a Glass now every month on the first Friday of the month at Three Steves Winery on Greenville Road in Livermore, California.
Home of the Greenville Fault, by the way. Earthquake fault right there.
Oh, there you go. So, and there we are. I mean, it's kind of snowballed. Now I'm doing shows at Kincannon. I've mentioned Three Steves. I've got Finestra, Shanti, Altamont Brew, Del Val. We got the Shindig in August, and Drake's dealership. I'm branching out into Oakland.
And I was really relating to what you were talking about as a fellow former tech Gen X parent who did a lot of shows with stoned millennials in the city, and it's like an hour each way on BART to do 3 minutes of material.
Minimum.
So I thank you wholeheartedly for bringing comedy here.
Yeah. It's been great because there's something to do out here, and my goal is by next year is that every weekend of the year, comedy should be an option. If you live in Livermore, you should be able to go to a comedy show on Friday or Saturday night. And I think we'll get there. I mean, people are interested in putting comedy shows together because it really doesn't take much. All I really need is a date. And from there, I'm the one throat to choke. I can take care of it all. We'll book the comics. I take care of booking, rebooking. I pay the comics. I do the promotion. I do the marketing and all that stuff and the ticketing. And then we make sure the shows look as if they're in-house, so it doesn't look like somebody's renting out your space. I like to be able to create a place for people to perform.
Well, you're doing a great job. Mazel tov.
Thanks.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, tell a friend. If you didn't enjoy this episode, tell an enemy. Either way, we're trying to grow the podcast.
We gave it all, we took the